Good evening everyone, this is Kaifu here. I have a discussion for you guys. I have to be really quiet because at the moment it's like almost 1 a.m. So some people in my house are sleeping, so I have to keep the voice volume really low. So sorry if you can't hear me, so I try my best to explain what I'm trying to say. So in this video I'm actually doing a discussion on the origin format and the Bifrost format, because the reason why is it's kind of like a high request, because for the American player doesn't have the Valhalla series, so they don't have access to like such as Loki, Kiss of Death, Diablos, Kronos, and so on. A lot of those good cards are really good, and I want to discuss the difference between Bifrost and Origin, and what I think is the most skillful and what is the most playable format for most skillful players. So let's get on with the video, guys. So in this video I'll be talking about the origin format and Bifrost format. So let's start with Bifrost format. Bifrost format is pretty much is a block, so it's like rotation overall, and in the origin format is pretty much you use life break mechanic and using all the current set, past set and future set to make into a deck. So that's the two differences at the moment. So which one I think is the most skillful album? To be honest, I really prefer Origin format because I prefer it because it's really skillful, not because due to life break. Is also you have to take everything into consideration. Now, I know that a lot of American player doesn't have like a lot of life break at the moment besides the trial decks, and like Origin format we have the Valhalla series, like not a lot of American has it, and mostly Europe, Malaysia, Singapore, maybe New Zealand as well, Tasmania, Australia, Japan, maybe Hong Kong as well, does have the Valhalla series, and since they have the Valhalla series, they already experienced what kind of good life breaks are there and so on. Now, a lot of people who actually play the Valhalla series set, they always prefer the Origin format, because the reason why you have to take everything into consideration. Now, I know the American player and some player actually disagree life break is a bad mechanic. It's actually a really good mechanic overall in this game. It's really skillful. Now, you've been wondering how is it really skillful? Because 4 random cards go to your life break mechanic and you break it, sure you get a life break and so on. You don't get life break, you get nothing, and life breaking is like luck sacking. Like, yes, I know what you guys mean, but however, since you're the opposing player, you have to take everything into consideration. Like, you have to show that your opponent is skillful or not skillful. For example, if I have 4 life breaks, if my opponent is recklessly like attacking, and putting my life point within range to the point that I can actually use all my life break mechanic and backfire him, like for example, life break Kiss of Death, kill your dude, life break peace negation, no damage for the whole turn, like so on, something like that on the line. So your opponent, you have to take consideration. Not only that, you also take consideration that what's in your opponent's life break as well, by looking at their rulers, what card they're playing at the moment, and how they play, and you can predict what kind of life breaks they have. Sure, you don't know what's in their deck, but however, you can have a common guess, like they might have 4 strain, they might have wind cutters and so on, something like that on the line, to actually make you figure out what's the deck strategy and so on, and what does their deck offers and so on. So that's why I really like the Origin format, because it allows you a lot of diverse thinking and a lot of strategy involved. Like for example, a life break could change the outcome of the game, but most of the time it doesn't. Like for example, if I attack you directly and you hit and you life break into a peace negation or morning mist, that actually stopped my battle for the whole entire turn, which allows you to finish me off next turn if I can't finish off this turn. So by that, you the opposing player have to figure out what's my backup plan. If I'm expecting a peace negation or morning mist in the life break, if they break into it, I'm kind of screwed. So do I have a backup plan? So you have to take a few steps further. Like that's the reason I like Origin format, because it's unpredictable and it's really skillful to the point that it forces you to think, it forces you to take everything into consideration. So that's the good part of it. So what kind of rules are there in the Origin format? The most popular one, there's a lot of good rules out there, like for example Kabuki and so on, but the most rules being played at the moment are these 3 guys out here. We have Kronos, Diablos, and Loki. Now these are the Valhalla series set cards, so pretty much the America doesn't have these yet. So I'll explain these already. I'm pretty sure I have a deck profile of these cards or these based on these rules already. So let me explain again. Diablos is pretty much a reanimation deck, so you force yourself to go for the OTK and hit for hard damage and so on, and nuking the whole entire field, resetting the field, putting into your favor. Loki is pretty much he is a basic control, so pretty much you actually put field wipe his ball sometime, and you actually search for key cards and so on. His defense is really big, but most of the time you actually use his rural build a lot, because his rural build is actually pay 400 to produce 1 Dark Will for the turn, which gives you the extra mana you need, so you can get the extra resource to actually do like a lot of big plays. Like for example, for turn 1 you put a drop 2 down, 2 drop on the field, turn 3 you put a turn 4 drop on the field, like really insane plays. And same with Diablos, you mostly be focused on his ruler side as well, paying 4, resurrect 1 and attack right away, so hitting for large numbers and so on. And when you think the favor is not in your favor, you can flip this over, nuking the whole entire field. Kronos' main strategy is either to deck you out, control your hand, control your plays, or burn you to death. So that's what's unexpected, so you have to take every consideration and so on. That's what I like about it, because even through these 3 are the best ruler of the Origin format, it doesn't mean they're unbeatable. Unlike other card games, like for example Yu-Gi-Oh, if you don't play the top tier deck, you will actually lose the game. You have nothing to compete with it. While this game, you actually have, in the Origin format, you can compete with the tier decks, but however it requires you to take everything into consideration, how to take these cards out into consideration, how to beat these overall. It's not that hard. It's like pretty much making an anti-meta deck, which does exist in this game, and you can actually shut down these decks really easily and so on. So also the fact that in the Origin format, a lot of rules are potential. For example, Kabuki, True Little Red himself. What else is there? Not Diablos. I mean, what was it? What's our rule? Lumia, and so on. Like a lot of those rules has potential in the Origin format, and some doesn't have potential in the Origin format. For example, Origin format, you won't be seeing a lot of Jonah Arc, you won't be seeing a lot of Rim, because the fact that they can't actually use a life break mechanic. And not only that, what I mean by can't use, because if they use life break mechanic, they might lose some key cards. And not only that, Jonah Arc, for example, is pretty much only for Bifrost, because the fact that if you play against Origin, if they have no humans, pretty much your J will actually do nothing. But what I also like about the Origin format, and why I think it's more skillful than Bifrost and Origin Bifrost, is the fact that it's diverse, and not only that, each ruler in the Valhalla series offers you an ability, so you can actually compete with other rulers, because which I will go into now to the Bifrost format, why I think is less skillful than Origin format. Because like in the Bifrost format, you will only see 2 top tier rulers, which is Rim and Dracula, which I'll explain now. Rim has an ability right away that you can gain access to right away without flipping it over and so on. And you have Dracula that can steal stuff, do a lot of damage on board, and it has a really strong ability, able to steal cards on the field, and if you kill it somehow, it can just deactivate once more. So these are the most play or top tier in Bifrost, while these are top tier in Origin, but still beatable. If versus these two, sometimes it's really impossible to beat these 2 rules, which I will explain now why. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Bifrost is not skillful. It's skillful, but the problem is that most ruler on the ruler side has no ability to offer you. For example, let's look at the Origin ones. Like for example, Loki's and Diablos of ruler form. Pay 400, produce 1 Dark Will. Pay 4 resources, resurrect 1 and attack right away, but remove from the game at the end of the turn. And so on. Like these have ability in the rule form can actually help you if you think you're in a situation that you are in need of help and so on. But if you use like what we call Van Helsing, if you use like Joan of Arc, if you use like any of those other rulers does not have very end ability on the rule form, you are in a pretty sticky situation because that Grim already have access to his full potential ability toolbox overall. Like, how can a non-ability ruler versus a ruler with an ability? Obviously, the ruler with the ability wins the game. So pretty much that's why Grim is the most played ruler in Bifrost format. That's why I don't like Bifrost, because it's only one deck gonna win. It's either this or that, because with all rules has no ability, what can you even do? What can you interact with them? Like for example, your say you're not using Grim, say your opponent is using Grim, right? And using some kind of ruler with no ability. They can use their ability anytime they want. They can actually, okay, it's time to filter search, filter search, filter search. They can get the engine going. They are using the ruler's potential. Like for example, if I need plays, I pay 400, play, make a big play, pay 400, make a big play, pay 400, I'm not pay 4 resource, attack right away, resurrect, attack right away, resurrect, remove, draw, deck you out, bounce, mill top card. Like, these allows you to actually have a lot of interaction with your opponent, so they have to take into consideration how deadly the rule form can be. In Bifrost, there's not a lot of deadly rulers except for Grim. Like in Japan, for example, all you saw was Grim, Dracula. Like, I know Dracula doesn't have a really good ability, like tap it, target resonator, lose 300 defense, and so on. It's not that amazing compared to like Grim, but however, if you somehow flip him to the J ruler right away, it changes, because the ability to steal, the ability to attack for 1000 flying, attack this 4 times, you win the game. Like, it's really hard to deal with. That's why I say Bifrost is the least skillful one at the moment with the current block that we have with the Grimcaster, because like for example, like the current moment that by the time you guys watch this video, the third set of the Grimcaster is not released yet, so I will not know in the future that will they have any more rulers with an ability. But at the moment, it's only Grim in the ruler form who actually has an ability, can actually help you, can actually make big plays for you. While if you look at other rulers like True Little Red Riding Hood, Van Helsing, Abdul, and so on, they don't have any ability on the ruler side. Even if they do, it's usually a tap ability, which doesn't actually help you to the full potential. While this one just like pay 1 discard search, pay 1 discard search, a fairy tale that is. Like, that's a massive big play. They're getting their engine going, they're getting everything going overall. Compared to you, like compared to a non-ability ruler, you can't get your engine going unless you have a focus around it, getting your J roll out on the field ASAP. That's what I mean. Like, if you see what I mean, it's like Black Wizard in Origin format is still useful because it has the ability to draw and so on. Paying 1 die, like those are good rulers, but they're not the most popular but good rulers to use. While in the Bifrost, there's not a lot of good rulers competing against Grim, because if you haven't noticed, in the Crimson Moon set and the Two Tower set, not a lot of rulers besides Grim has a good ability that can help you in the long run. Yes, I see Dracula can tap for 300 minus defense, yes, that's an ability, but would that actually help you in the long run? Would that actually make you in a better position than Grim that can actually continuously discard and search and so on? Obviously, on Bifrost, you'll be disadvantaged if you don't play Grim. That's how I feel. While in Origin format, you can have a diverse of rulers which has good abilities to help you. Now, let's talk about Origin Bifrost, which is the least skillful game out there at the moment, or least skillful format. Why is that? Because that a lot of Resonator that relies on break. For example, Grendel. Now what Grendel does is a 12/12 5 or 4 cost demon, what it does is that you can destroy a life break when it comes to the field, and you can also activate his ability in the graveyard by paying 3 darkness, resurrected, and when you do, activate the enter skill. Now, since in Origin Bifrost you don't use the break mechanic, life break mechanic, you can just constantly bring him back and doesn't self-destruct, because in the Origin format you have 4 life breaks. So if you use Grendel, you can only use it 4 times. So you bring Grendel 4 times, you can use the ability 4 times, because if there's no life break for you to destroy or banish, Grendel will get destroyed in the long run, because he has to destroy a life break. So while in Origin Bifrost it's not a really skillful format, because by using a resident like him, you can constantly bring back a 12/12 by paying 3 darkness onto the field. At 12/12, how can you handle that on turn 3? It's really difficult to handle unless you have a lot of removal spells in your hand. Even you do, you're just nagging yourself, because the point that Grendel can actually keep resurrecting as long as there's no life break mechanic in Origin Bifrost. Yeah, you see what I mean. So that's how I feel about the game at the moment. I feel that Origin format is the most skillful format. Well, from my point of view and my opinion only. You guys have your own opinion overall, but however, I still believe Origin format is most skillful. Yes, I know Origin format has some like really busted cards, but depending what ruler you use, depending how you use it, is how you make it broken. It's not like saying, for example, I dropped this, is broken already. Like, if your opponent can interact with you, your broken card is not really that broken. For example, Kunoichi, and so on, like the one draw 7 at end phase. If your opponent can interact with you, like cancel it or kill it before the end phase start, you wasted 5 resource for nothing. You didn't take into consideration what your opponent has. And not in that, you have to take consideration, if my opponent life breaks, will it destroy my big play? You have to take everything into consideration. Yes, these are the most popular one, but still beatable. These, you don't play these two, you have a really tough time and almost impossible to beat these two, because they are just far too superior. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about this video, guys. Leave a comment section down below what you think about it and so on, compared to Origin format and Bifrost format. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.